Alright guys, we're back here in the shop, and why am I taking the Buick engine all apart after I just put it in here? Well, if you saw the last video where I got it running, I had a tiny little water leak at the water pump underneath the alternator, and it's dripping, and I tried to get away at the end of the video off camera. I tried to even smear some RTV on it. The RTV didn't set up. It's still dripping, one or two little drips, so I can't in good conscience leave it dripping because it will just leak forever. So I'm going to take the water pump off. Luckily I have a bunch of new gaskets. What I think is a problem is I got some gray RTV that's old, and I think maybe it didn't set up all the way. So I've got brand new black RTV, and I'm just going to throw this guy away for now because I stuck it on the outside of the water pump, and it wasn't like almost 12 hours ago, and it was still tacky or real wet. So it might not have sealed, and that might be why the water pump's leaking. Anyway, it's got to come apart to do it the right way. I don't want to leave it leaking. But if you saw last time, we got this thing running. It runs excellent. It had a couple little surprises along the way, but I got those dialed in. I got it tuned up. It runs good. The timing's set. It runs mint. If you saw, I was in a snowstorm, so I didn't really open the big door. I had like cross ventilation going so I could run the thing inside. And just want to caution you, I talked about it in the video about carbon monoxide and carbon monoxide poisoning. I did notice after I went inside, elevated pulse rate, and I got a blood pressure cuff and checked my blood pressure and heart rate. Even though I really didn't have any symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning, it had picked up my my pulse by like 20 degrees and put my blood pressure like way up. It was high. So even though I didn't have like nausea or anything like that, I did get real bad carbon monoxide poisoning actually at work several years ago out by a generator. Outside of all things, it was the weirdest thing. And I turned white. I thought I was having a heart attack, like nauseous. It was real bad. And it was weird because it was outside and I was far away from this little generator, but it was just the right combination of things. I don't know. But anyways, so I know what it feels like. And so I was being real careful. Bottom line is, you got to be safe, and take it from me, like, I spent half the night worrying, like, is it going to get worse? Is it going to get better? It takes a long time to get carbon monoxide out of your bloodstream. Like, my pulse has gone back down to normal now. It's almost, I don't know what time it is. It's like 18 hours later. But it can get really bad, and if it gets to a point where it's too bad and there's too much carbon dioxide in your blood, you need to go to the hospital and get, like, oxygen, and they... what happens is carbon monoxide molecules get out of the blood hemoglobin and block the oxygen, so you can't get oxygen in your blood. That's bad, and you can have a whole bunch of bad effects from it and or die. So I was kind of making a joke, like being in the snowstorm, having the cross ventilation going. It wasn't quite enough for the amount that we ran the car in here, so no more running cars in the garage at all in the wintertime when the door is closed. And I do have, and I think I'm in a future time, I do have some of those silicone, or I don't know what they're silicone, but the black hoses from the garages that they use to run cars in, like at a dealership. I have a couple of those. They're not very long. They're, I don't know, 10 feet long. They were on 2-post lifts, and they went up into a system that was ventilated to go away. I have a couple of them. I think if I take them and I get some like PVC, and I either put a PVC manifold through the wall and or just run some PVC pipe out under the garage door, you know, with the silicone hoses then in the PVC, and let the exhaust blow out the garage, that would be 1,000 times better than like trying to use the fan and stuff. I had the door open over there, and I had this window open with a fan, and I was, you know, getting cross ventilation through the garage, but it just wasn't quite enough. These engines are air pumps, and 350 cubic inches will move a lot of air and turn it over and convert it from, you know, oxygen into carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide very, very quickly. So you got to be careful. This isn't that big of a space. So luckily I just had a very minor touch of it, but I thought I was going to be good, and it wasn't. So just got to be really careful when you're doing that stuff. I just thought I'd put that out there. So anyways, I spent the day inside editing videos and stuff, just relaxing, and now I'm out here in the evening, and we're going to fix this guy. But the snowstorm dumped a ton of snow in the driveway. It drifted and all, and I wanted to get this car out of here so we can get the 40 Mercury in here. So maybe tomorrow, which is going to be New Year's Eve for me, which is past New Year's for you guys, but Happy New Year. I'm going to try to get this car together tonight so tomorrow I can plow the driveway and get it out back down to the pole barn and get the 40 Mercury in here. It's my plan, but we can't do any of that until we fix the water pump leak. Everything else is good though. Everything else worked great. I don't see any other leaks, and I'm happy with that. But let's, I've already drained the coolant out, which is a big mess, and I hate doing it. I'm pulling the alternator off now and just got to take the water pump off. So, bummer, but it is what it is. Okay, got the water pump off. I really don't see anything super obvious. I see the gray RTV I used a little bit. The RTV was old and had a little bit of skin on it, and I tried to goop through the skin. It's possible I got a little crumb of skin stuck in the RTV and made it so it was holding the gasket open. I don't know. But we'll open a brand new RTV and get that there. I've got a little bit of a mess going on with the car, not too bad. I keep spilling stuff on the floor, but it is what it is. So I just gotta scrape these gaskets off. I had bought a whole bunch because I was doing like 2 or 3 engines here in a row. So I bought a bunch of water pump gaskets, luckily, so we can fix those up lickety split and suck a little bit of antifreeze out of the front of the block to make sure it's below the sealing system and basically glue this guy right back on here just like it was. I'll wait until tomorrow to put antifreeze in it. But what a bummer. What a bummer. All I want to do is put the thing together once. At least it's a small black Chevy and it's easy to work on the water pump. All right, I got everything cleaned off here really good. I jacked the front of the car up some to get the antifreeze that's in the block to go backwards. And I cleaned all that up really nice and wiped it off with lacquer thinner. I got the water pump over here. I've already RTV'd and put the new gaskets on. I'm just letting that sit up for a second. And I go over here, I got the bolts, I cleaned them all off. I'm gonna put brand new thread sealer on here, seal and lock thread compound, because they go into the water jackets. A couple of these had a lot of this on it, then a couple of them came out, it didn't look like it had too much on it, so I'm going to put a bunch more than I need just because I can, and I'd rather be looking at it than looking for it. Uh-oh, tell me we got enough. Oh yeah. So I'm going to coat the entire thread surface this time. I can't remember what I did last time. I'd have to watch the video. I might have just put like a little bit on there, but these bolts thread into the block like, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch, so maybe it starts to wipe some of it off. So we're going to put a ton on there. I don't think it was leaking around the bolt. I think it was the gasket, but I don't know. And we're going to not take a chance because I don't have to do this again. What a pain. Everything was brand new and I thought we were good, but we weren't. Sorry. Is what it is. Who jacked the front of the car up where I can't reach it? Dang it. Can I stand? Oh, nuts. The front of the car is all tall. Can I do it? Can I do it? Clear the pulley. Oop, oop, oop. Get one started. Okay. We're almost there on this side. Got him. Okay. Well, that was fun. Okay, that's going in. I got to give it to Chevy for making the easiest water pump install. Ford and stuff, you got plates and fight with the timing cover and everything else. I added a couple of washers of these bolts. They're a little on the long side, and just in case they like bottom out in the block, which I don't think they did, but I added a little bit of washer just in case that was an issue. So, you know, if the water pump wasn't fully seated, which I don't think was the problem. Okay, it's the next day. Gonna kind of a late start. It's been snowing like mad, and I'm trying to formulate a plan to get this car out of here. And I was trying to think what to bring in. Obviously, I want to bring the 40 Mercury in, but now I've got snow on the ground everywhere. And it's going to be a trick to get the Mercury out. And I got the black Dodge dead in the driveway in front of the garage. And there's a ton of snow. I'm going to have to go out and plow. It's been snowing all day. It's not drifted too bad yet. So I think I got a plan. I almost thought about bringing the black Dodge in here and working on that for a while because it's here in the driveway, but I'm down one garage space if I do that. And I might have put I don't think there's going to be room, but let's not worry about that right now. I formulate a plan, but everything's back together. I let this sit for, I don't know, 10, 12 hours, so the RTV should be all set up. And I'm going to leave this heater hose valve open to bleed the air out of the engine instead of taking the water neck off. I think that'll be okay. Where's my funnel? I hit a funnel. Now it's gone. Dang it. I love it. I love working on cars. Of course, I can't see. Do I really need the funnel? I can't see to get the, there we go. If I do that, then I can run this valve when it gets up to where it's starting to puke. Here we go. I'm using this heater valve, like I said, as a way to get the air out. But this should fill through the water pump and stuff in the water neck, and the thermostat does have an air bleed in it. So at some point, something's going to happen. I'm sure we'll have coolant all over the ground here in a minute. One way or the other. Oh, there we go. Boom. So that allowed the water to fill the block up, come out of this hose, which should be, you know, to get up this high, it should have filled the engine block up. So now let's go ahead and stick the heater hose back on there and tighten that guy back down. That's going to be awesome. So hopefully that'll get the air out all the way, or most of the way out of the engine. There's a little bit left in the in this container that's going to have to burp through the system, but not much. I'm going to let this sit and percolate, see if any air can work itself out of the system while I go out and I plow the driveway. We'll just have to, that's great. We'll just have to watch for leaks. I just dribbled a little bit down because of that coming out of the heater thing. Let me blow the engine off, blow the coolant off. And the remaining coolant will blow it off with this compressed air. Get it off the engine. I want to watch for leaks. Wipe up the leaks on the floor that we dribbled down there, and then all right, I'm looking at the side of the water pump where it was leaking last time. I don't see any leaks. That black RTV that I got out of that tube was brand new, so it should be good. The only antifreeze I got is a little bit on the pulley and a little on the cross member that dribbled down before, but we're blown off here. Just gotta watch that side, but hopefully we'll be all set. See if I get a rag in there and get the rest of that moisture I tried blowing off so we're all good. All right, I don't see any moisture. I'm just gonna leave it sit and percolate. Once in the springtime I get this thing running and driving around more, we're going to I'll top up the coolant if it needs any more, but bleeding it out through the heater hose would have got any air out, or most of the air out of the engine, so we should be good. I'll throw the air cleaner back on. I got to put the hood back on, but I'm going to go out in the daylight and finish plow the driveway and move some trucks around so we can get this car out of here. And then we're going to have to go down to the pole barn and move things around down there to get the mercury out and put this away.